Oh man, I love this deck, Cedric.
Oh yeah.
Soren all the way. So we've been talking about tipping points across our Pioneer games this weekend. What is the moment that might shift the game here? I think I might know what it is.
Yeah, you got a pretty good idea. Look, as good as a card as Fable is, and it's a heck of a Magic card, right? We're going to look towards if either one of these players can go Soren into Vein Ripper.
There it is.
It's going to be really, really, really tough to beat the Vampire Assassin. So if this thing is on the battlefield, I'm going to assume the player who has it has a very sizable advantage because, yeah, tough to kill. Tough to kill.
Ripping veins and taking names.
Oh, yes. Let's go.
The new Splinter Twin is in the building. I said it yesterday, and today I'm like, you know what? I might be right.
Okay.
All right, I'm sticking by it. Alien Corey with us here for round number 12. Take it away, you two.
Thank you so much, Maria. There's going to be plenty of vein ripping happening in this matchup between two friends, two teammates, two Hall of Famers, two pretty much everything you can think of, you know?
Two great careers going at it and two players still trying to make the top 8 this weekend. So going to be really exciting. I can't wait for this one.
As it stands, both Luis and Reid are still in contention to get those 12 wins to secure their top 8 spots.
Yep.
Whoever loses here, though, is going to have a bit of a more difficult time at that. So it's going to be a bittersweet victory, I think, for either player here. But definitely both still have the opportunity to make the top 8, and I'm pretty sure a lot of fans would love to see that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm just so excited to see the Vampires deck in action. We've seen a good amount of it, but, you know, I am just craving more and more of this deck. Now, playing the mirror match, it's going to be a little bit more luck-based, I would imagine, you know, as compared to just Vampires versus other decks in the field that they're prepared for, because, well, when you prepare for a tournament like this, and you're playing a brand new deck, you know, you don't really prepare for the mirror match too much.
Well, if things are going very well for the team, then you expect to have to take out one of your teammates. As we get things underway here, Thoughtseize followed by our friendly Blood-Tithe Harvester.
And
Very
that was a
common occurrence on turn 2.
Yeah, and that was a top deck from Reid. That Thoughtseize took away one of the Fables, just left another Fable. So looks like Reid mulliganed quite a few times, probably to 5 here, maybe even less. But top decking the Blood-Tithe Harvester was excellent.
15.
And
Now-
for 3, yeah, this guy can, he can punch.
Shaman.
Yep. And there is Fable for the, you know, perfect 1-2 punch, like you were saying. Excellent stuff here.
Luis is such a nice guy. He's like, don't even bother about
Yeah,
the token.
yeah.
It's fine. It's dead.
All right, I think I saw Soren. Okay, I'm guessing we don't have any Vein Rippers, or that would have been a slam dunk here. As I do see Soren, 2 lands, and a mystery card in the back. I think Dust Legion Zealot there.
Yeah. Sorry, needs someone to chew on first, so Preach of the Schism makes those little vampire buddies.
Yep.
Perfect target for Soren, so we'll be looking to get some of those generated here.
16, Bitter Triumph.
Oh, Bitter Triumph takes care of the Preach of the Schism. This is kind of what we were talking about leading up to this. When we saw this deck list, we were like, okay, how much are the opponents going to...
I saw the Vein Ripper. Sorry to get excited there. Yeah.
Lovely.
There it is. The Splinter Twin combination there.
So Soren in, as well as the Vein Ripper. Here it goes. And yeah, tipping point indeed.
Yep, absolutely. So Reid, you know, notably did not discard any cards to Fable here, so almost assuredly has one good card here. Oh my! Okay. That is impressive. They're both kind of smirking like, yeah,
oh boy.
Reid knows he's drawing well. Luis knows he's drawing well. That's impressive stuff.
Reid looks like he's trying to stifle a smile there.
Yeah.
That is pretty funny. Okay, so now we have 2 Vein Rippers. You know, they essentially take each other out, but they cancel each other out to a degree.
Yeah.
Would advantage now go back to Reid Duke?
Yeah, I would think so, especially with having that reflection. The keyword that is not on Vein Ripper is the most important word of not having Legendary. So being able to reflection Vein Ripper is something I think we all want to see, except Luis Scott-Vargas.
I don't want to see that at all. Oh, all those triggers, Blood Artist's Big Brother.
Yeah, and Reid really drew out of this mulligan quite well. And, you know, whenever you're playing well and the good players are drawing well, you know, these are scary opponents, whether or not you're Luis Scott-Vargas or not.
Dusk Legion Zealot joins the fray. Another life lost for Luis and a card drawn. So keeping the options flowing here for the Hall of Famer.
Yeah, and still has Soren available, so can either pump up Vein Ripper to get in some extra damage or throw the Zealot at a Soren, something like that, or throw it at the Reflection.
With a 7/6 Death Touch lifelink.
Yeah. 7/6 Death Touch lifelink.
And there is just 2 lands and a Fatal Push in hand for Luis. Pretty brutal, as there doesn't look like there's a way to trigger Revolt. Unless we get a block here, then you can deal with the Reflection.
A block.
All right.
So the drains cancel out, but I get a 7, I get 18.
Yep.
Yeah, drains cancel out, but Luis importantly gains 7 life there.
Yep. And that did trigger that. The one thing Luis really couldn't have dealt with
With 1 card left.
is if Reid just kind of took that, being able to Reflection the Vein Ripper there would have been quite nice.
That would have been sweet indeed. So now things are boring again, Corey.
Yeah, no veins being ripped here. Just a good old-fashioned Rakdos mirror here at this point. But now the game is really going to revolve around who can deal with Soren. Who can get Soren off the battlefield first from the opponents?
Yeah, both players have the creature that they can sacrifice to chuck 3 points of damage somewhere.
Yep, and there is Reid's first kind of dead draw. Getting rid of that, and now Reid is in a good bit of trouble here as this Harvester is coming in. Luis can animate the Mutavault and double block to be able to get it out of there, but if Reid does have like a Fatal Push, Bitter Triumph, something like that, can really cancel that out.
Okay,
and
20.
Luis is respecting it, just jumping.
You lose life. Oh, they're bitter. Yeah.
Yeah.
Your turn.
All right, high with the Eye Tyrant.
So that is Reid being hellbent, so the Mutavault can clear out Soren. And a Vein Ripper up the top from Luis. One good draw deserves another.
Oh boy. That's
Seven,
things are
6.
interesting again here. As Luis Scott-Vargas tries to push the advantage with Vein Ripper number 2 for his side of things.
Wow, what a draw there.
19.
Okay, now if Reid can find Bitter Triumph here, this would be excellent.
Jesus,
Oh, they
Vein
do
Ripper
only
is
have the
so
1 in the
sticky.
main deck, so yeah, there's really not a ton of ways to deal with opposing Vein Rippers. A big flaw in their deck list here. I mean, only being able to kill Vein Ripper once.
Like you mentioned, though, they're not too fussed about the mirror
+1,
match,
yeah.
but you know it'll come up.
Attack your Soren.
Post board, we do have another copy of the Bitter Triumph, so likely to see that and the Path of Perils, which get around the ward cost
board.
that has to be paid.
Yep.
It's gonna hurt though because that Vein Ripper is gonna see everything die.
Yep, absolutely. So there goes Soren. The attack with the Harvester that was pumped up.
Okay. 22.
Mutavault getting in as well, clearing out the Sorens, so no Sorens for either player. Preacher of the Schism as the follow-up here for Luis, so an excellent turn indeed.
Yeah, now the pressure is really on Reid here. Yeah, I think this matchup, you know, kind of unsurprisingly, of course, the Soren Vein Ripper plan on turn 3, that's going to be the best thing they're looking for. But even just going into the late game and having 6 mana and casting Vein Ripper, the matchup's going to very much depend on this extremely powerful card. And just like other Rakdos mirror matches where the game really hinges on Shieldred, it's just really the Shieldred of this style of mirror match. Just so much better.
Yeah, pretty similar effects if you think about it.
Yeah,
I'll attack you and exile your
2 life
Soren.
being thrown around
yeah.
this way or that way. So here comes High with the Eye Tyrant now exiling some stuff. Has Menace, so no block available there for Luis. Creature attack, perhaps? Ooh, okay. Fatal Push, get rid of one of the blockers. That's very nice indeed. And Mutavault as well as the Preacher. And our big Vein Ripper friend getting in for a chunk of damage here.
Yeah,
take 11 damage
absolutely.
down to 9.
And there is kind of the end stage of the game here. Luis is really in a commanding position.
Yeah.
Take 1 from Sulphurous Springs.
And there it is.
Go.
No real way to deal with the board that he's amassed.
Okay, I mean,
But yeah, Vein Rippers on either side of the battlefield here.
Now some combat math comes into play because you, of course, can attack with the Vein Ripper into Vein Ripper, trade that way. The +1 counter does not stop Vein Ripper from trading. You would need 2 counters there, but you can also attack with the Preacher. But outside of that, that's where the math comes in for Luis. Do you want to animate the Mutavault, get in with the vampires as well? And looks like the answer is yes. That's just basically saying you have to block with the Vein Ripper on the Vein Ripper or you're going to die. So
this is still going to hurt, though, because these death triggers are going to deal so much damage here to Reid.
Yeah, and they will negate. They will cancel out with both players having them.
I suppose it is one advantage, huh? It's like 2 dueling Shieldreds.
Yeah, there you go. And it gets a little dicey if you're at a low life total, then it goes to active player, non-active player, and you can actually get got by that, but probably not going to come up here.
So a couple similar situations with Meat Hook Massacre.
Yeah.
Triggers going left, right, and center.
So
it's like,
first I take 4 down to 4, then my drains happen, then your drains happen. Is that correct?
Yeah, the drains cancel out.
But in a way that I don't die.
Yeah,
Okay.
correct. And I gain 1 life off the lifeline. So
just check it.
417.
Yeah, just double checking the active player, non-active player thing is always a little bit confusing.
Reid Duke, our reigning Pioneer champion, having won Pro Tour for Phyrexia all be won. His first Pro Tour win.
First Pro Tour win, and wow, how amazing was that to witness in person, you know, somebody who is as loved in the community as Reid and is such a phenomenal Magic player. That was really special to watch last year.
Yeah.
But I bet Reid wants to do it again.
I'm sure he'd love to.
Yeah, I think the first thing that happens when you win a Pro Tour, I would imagine, is you just want that feeling once again.
Well, yeah, it has been quite a while for Luis Scott-Vargas, also a Pro Tour champion, but that was 2008.
Yeah, and a reminder for every Luis Scott-Vargas fan out there, this is Luis's only qualification right now. Reid, of course, had almost the Player of the Year season last year, took second to Simon, but Luis, using the Hall of Fame invite here, needs to get to 10 wins just to come back for the next Pro Tour.
Yeah, 10-6 or better will get you back to the next Pro Tour, so that's going to be the first hurdle for him to overcome. And then, if he can finish off this weekend with a top 8, I'm sure he'll be very pleased about that. Game number 2, let's jump into the action here as Luis is able to just overpower Reid Duke, teammate and friend on the other side of the table.
And Reid put up a great fight for mulliganing so low.
Yeah.
I mean, that was impressive. Kept three land, double Fable on the multi-5, and still had a Vein Ripper in play on turn 4, you know, so had a nice go of it. But all right, there is the Splinter Twin combo, as we're calling it, and this is as close to Splinter Twin as I've seen in a while, even though Splinter Twin has been declared by players, you know, for such little combos.
Oh, man. Planeswalker show and tell, kind of?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thoughtseize taking a peek in hand here. Bloodscythe Harvester, Sorin, Fatal Push, Vein Ripper, and the Preacher of the Schism. So that's a really, really good hand for Reid. Yeah. What do you take here from Luis's side?
I think you have to break up the Sorin Vein Ripper. Unless Luis has another Thoughtseize, which it kind of doesn't look like, you got to take one of those elements. And Sorin is the easier one, or kind of the tougher one to deal with because it costs so much less. You can find a Thoughtseize in the next 5 turns to go. And wow, Smuggler's Copter up the top.
What's up, buddy? Welcome back.
Yeah, fresh off the unban there. And what a good unban. You know, it is definitely proven to not be dominant like it was back in the day, and it's just a good card. Another solid card. It's only a 2 of in their decks here, so nothing crazy.
That and Reckoner Bankbuster kind of vying for position, but I think, you know, statistically speaking, Reckoner Bankbuster beating it out there.
Yeah.
And
in the traditional Rakdos decks, for sure.
For sure.
Yep. Here, I like Copter more because anything to help you get to the Vein Ripper Sorin combo, that's exactly what you want to be doing in this really awesome Vampire deck.
Crew, attack, and loot.
Turns out drawing cards is a good thing to do in Magic the Gathering, as Reid Duke does just that with the Smuggler's Copter attack.
Yep, and I just saw Reid pick up Vein Ripper at home, Shieldred. So has a nice powerful
That's an insult
draw.
to Shieldred.
Well, I'm sorry, Shieldred.
She's legendary.
Is normally the talk of the town, but Vein Ripper is definitely taking the spotlight for this event.
I suppose that's
no land from Reid here, so that's a big thing.
Did we have a third land for Luis? I think we did, right?
I think so as well. Either way, we had Dust Legion Zealot to be able to draw, but there it is. We'll see if we got Fable. There's a Liliana as well from Luis. Liliana definitely a super strong card in this matchup, especially if you're, looking at your opponent having Sorin and Vein Ripper. If you can just actually have them sacrifice it without having to pay the ward, that would be excellent. But Smuggler's Copter is really the counter to Liliana the Veil, because you're really unable to cleanly protect Liliana.
Very low loyalty Planeswalker when she lands, but, has been known to take over a game or two as Preacher of the Schism and Smuggler's Copter swing in here. We'll get the triggers from both. We'll get 2 draws here. Preacher of the Schism attacking the lower life player.
Yep. Or looks like this is Crude, right? Yeah.
Crude, yeah.
Yep. Just deciding what to discard here.
You're at 8.
Getting rid of a Thoughtseize. Still has the Shieldred, so if Reid can find land 4, being able to play it, then Crew gain some life as well is going to be excellent. All right, Luis needs a big turn here. He's definitely falling behind, but is up to possibly 5 mana here.
A little Goblin Shaman helping out there. Here comes Liliana.
Nice. I like your style.
Reid Duke, a lover of Liliana of the Veil.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe the ultimate lover of Liliana of the Veil. I like your style, says Reid.
Goblin
Nice.
Shaman.
That takes care of Preacher of the Schism and the Pilot.
This is going to be big. Is there a Fatal Push?
Wow. There is.
Huge for Luis.
Sure.
And just well set up for Luis, Just as I was saying, you can't protect Liliana alone by just sacrificing it with a Smuggler's Copter in play with a Fatal Push. It's excellent.
Fable the Mirrorbaker flips. It's a reflection of Kiki Jiki. So 2 critters here to protect Liliana. What can Reid Duke do about this Planeswalker at the moment? And another Fatal Push, I think?
Yeah, I saw Push, Thoughtseize, and Shieldred, I believe, so not much. Reid was very reliant on that Smuggler's Copter staying on the battlefield.
4 you discard 4.
4, yeah.
Attack and make a treasure. 16.
All right, and Luis still has plenty of cards here, and the post-combat Fable. Now it's really going to come down to, can Reid find land 4 or is willing to attack with the Shaman just to get land 4, which the answer is probably yes.
Yeah.
And then is there an answer for Shieldred, or can that start to get Reid back into a great position here? As he's starting to fall behind a little bit on the battlefield here.
Fine. Go ahead.
And 1 card left.
Yeah.
Shieldred at least can be kind of easily answered by the removal that they have. Fatal Push, you have to get the Revolt trigger first. So.
Yeah. And actually, even if Reid does attack with Shaman, it's assuredly getting blocked by another Shaman. So then Liliana will just clean it up. So it looks like Reid did top deck a Mutavault. So if he has the kind of the foresight to just play Mutavault, play Shieldred, not attack with the Shaman, then at least it's protected from the onboard Liliana, and Luis would, really only need a light breeze to be able to kill the Shaman and then take care of Shieldred, but be a bit of a house of cards there. Oh, just gets rid of it. Says that's not enough.
Okay.
Got a Harvester, a tapped Rakdos land, and a Fatal Push, so...
Reid was so in the tank there. I thought the feed had frozen.
Yeah.
Just like
wow, and another push here.
Goodness me.
Yeah, and normally, especially with the Shieldred being discarded, both players only have 1 in their sideboard, so Luis knows he doesn't have to really hang around with that Fatal Push, but even if there was another Shieldred, having Liliana on the battlefield was able to clean it up anyways.
Yeah. Man, both players just ripping apart at the resources here, so plenty of back and forth removal being thrown around.
It's kind of what their deck does, right?
Yeah.
Just vein ripping and just ripping things apart.
Fair. I did walk into
I'll see myself out.
Alrighty.
All right, so Chapter 2 of Fable on the stack. Luis either deciding to discard that card or not, or just hang on to it. And
5.
yeah, that's one you keep.
Nice.
That's for sure.
Attack you for 4 mana.
Very cool.
Okay, now if Luis were to find a Vein Ripper off the top, able to cast it, where that is not the case for Reid. Both players hellbent.
Fable the Mirror Breaker flips once again. 2 Goblin Shamans for Luis. To the Fable Reflection of Kikijiki on the other side. And now we're digging.
Yep.
The Goblin.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
You can never
There's some
complain
more
about a
gas.
top deck Fable.
No. I don't think anyone's ever sad to see that card off the top of their own library.
Yeah, absolutely. Most played card this weekend.
Yep.
Yep.
-2 on you.
Thoughtsy is close behind.
So Liliana to get rid of one of the either the Shaman or the Reflection. And yeah, I mean, with the Shamans coming in here, Reid's going to be pretty incentivized to block, or maybe just cannot block and has to hope for something great off the top. But with only having 4 mana, you know, there's nothing amazing. If Reid had 7 mana, could top deck Vein Ripper, copy it, and get in there.
Down to 4. This is pretty scary territory now, because if Reid Duke can do like 1 more point of damage and find Sauron, sack a Vampire and just, you
Yeah,
know,
absolutely.
lightning bolt to the face.
Yeah, I think Luis knows that, and it's going to be I will not go to 3
Yeah.
willingly as long as there's a Vampire on the battlefield. But Luis is looking to close this game out here in a couple of turns. What a sweet mirror match.
This is really cool. Very
You know-
intricate.
Yeah, some mirror matches, not always the most fun to play, but wow. Rakdos mirror matches, Azorius control mirror matches where there's a lot of play to them is extremely fun.
Chapter 2. Fable the Mirror Breaker. Discarding Fatal Push.
Okay, needs a good one.
And 1 card in your hand.
1 card apiece for both players here.
Wow.
Creature of the Sky.
That's pretty much the best draw here. With Reflection online, I believe. I don't think
yeah.
that just flipped. Like, being able to copy that one, pretty strong.
Oh, yeah.
And had the option to copy it and get in there. Chose not to. And we'll see if Luis has anything. That is definitely one of the cards that could get Reid back into this.
Yeah.
If
sure.
Reid just goes to Luis's end step, copies the Preacher, and then untaps, copies it again,
Yeah.
I mean, that's a
a lot
scary,
of damage.
scary attack, yeah.
Oof. So stressful here for Luis. All he can do is
And just
toss
a
his hand
pass. And discarding with Liliana, you gotta think that that other card is just a land. It could be a removal spell. It definitely could be a removal spell. But if it was a Fatal Push, you think Luis probably would have got in there. If it's a Vein Ripper, if it's a Sorin, any of those
Step, I'll
things,
make a
Luis
copy
would have
of
played it.
Preacher.
Oh, it is a Fatal Push. Look at that patience and discipline from Luis.
with the target on the stack. Preacher the Schism taken care of, so we don't get to see any multiple vampire attacks this turn.
Yep.
We do have another flipped reflection of Kikijiki.
Now you get to do the good
thing.
old-fashioned trick.
Oh yeah.
Vampire.
Target reflection, and Liliana does not really interact in any profitable way with this, because if Liliana targets Reid Duke, Reid can just make a copy, make another copy with that copy, and then sack one of the copies that's tapped. So it can eat up some mana, but that's about it.
Oh, man, imagine having that with a Vein Ripper on the battlefield. That's just like lights out.
Yeah, and you could see
Correct.
Luis was just like -2 right away, and then I think he saw exactly what I was just saying, like, ooh, you can just copy a reflection.
That's so rough.
But Luis does have quite a formidable attack here as well, but yeah, the things you can do with 2 reflections is really nasty. It's such a powerful play. And I saw at least 1 land from Luis, so not doing too much, and yeah, that looked like 2 of them.
Yeah.
Oh, nope, that was a Preacher, I think.
All right, so -2.
Copy
On
this.
Liliana. Make a copy.
Copy this.
Copy the copy. Copy another copy. Kill the copy, like you mentioned. So the second copy sticks around.
Yep, and now that copy does not have Summoning Sick, so Reid can start the loop again at Luis's turn. Even if Reid were to block with that copy, you once again copy again,
Yeah.
and then at end step copy again. Like,
Yeah, it's pretty neat, but you have to be in the end step. You can't make the copy stick around beforehand.
correct, yep, that one copy will go away. You got to be in the end step because it triggers at the very next end step.
Yeah.
So there is a Preacher, which you can play Preacher and then copy it with Reflection. How many times do you think we're going to say copy in this one turn?
I'm not counting. If you want to, though, by all means. Oh, boy.
So this attacking Preacher, you would get the Vampire.
Yeah. Has lifelink, which could be relevant.
Yeah, very relevant.
We'll copy the Preacher.
Yep.
Attack.
So
With the
Preacher in
Preacher
with a copy.
Attack with the Dusk Legion Zealot copy.
So gaining 1 extra creature, a 1/1 vampire.
And debating on any other attacks. Like the problem with Luis here, you think like, why wouldn't you just attack with your shamans as well? But if you attack with those, Reid gets to make copies, then block,
Yeah.
and then make copies again, and Luis loses real permanence where Reid's just losing copies.
Yeah. Which would die either way.
Yep.
I'll block the Dusk Legion Zealot copy and take 2 damage down to 6.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So end step, the trigger to get rid of this on the stack. I'll copy. Thanks.
I got you, bud.
Copy.
And then
This
that
one dies. Copy.
Okay, so
that's
those ones
3
are hanging
copies.
around.
Yeah.
That's
Oof.
5 attackers here.
2, 3,
Reid
4,
or
5.
Luis does have enough blockers here to survive
Yeah.
this turn.
Piece of removal from Reid would get the job done here.
A Harvester would be
5.
okay.
Okay, all right.
Now Soren's lethal if we get it.
Did we get it? We didn't see it slam down, so I'm going to guess no.
Yep.
Soren's second +1 ability.
It's just incredible that that card has 2 pluses.
I know, right?
You know, yeah, going into this event, you know, we kind of all forgot about Soren. And I'm like, oh, it's got to be +1 for the lifelink ability, and it's got to be
-1,
-1.
right?
Yeah, exactly. Nope. Look out, Oko. I think this is the new 3-mana Planeswalker.
Creatures.
Oh boy. Alrighty, so 3 reflections swinging in here. They will go away at the end of this end step,
Yep.
so no reason to keep them hanging around.
And this block would put Luis to 2.
-1 life down to 2.
I'm gonna lose my Vampire token.
Yep.
And now Reid can draw some extra cards if he so chooses with the Zealot, and can also run the trick the other way. Reid can go to his own end step, copy the Zealot, and you know, try to draw before there could be any removal spells. Not the biggest use, and that is land and Thoughtseize in hand for Luis.
Oh,
so
boy.
whenever he needed just anything to push through, is unable to find it.
I know he won't do it, but I kind of want to see him go out on his own terms in this match.
Yeah.
You know, Thoughtseize, take 2.
If he goes out on his own terms, it'll be picking up his cards.
Yeah.
So now it gets dicey again. There's another 3 mana, which represents 3 2/2s.
Another Preacher of the Schism.
Yep.
Make 2 Vampire tokens.
2 1/1s here really messes up the math for Reid. So I think Luis can survive next turn almost assuredly, because there's going to be 6 attackers, and the lifelinkers plus 3 other blockers essentially negate 6,
Yeah.
as you'll gain 2. So I think it is Reid really looking to find something, and the main thing would be Soren to finish it
copy
off with
Yeah.
the Lightning Helix
Zealot.
ability.
So I go to 4
Has
life.
a tiny little bit of
card.
life extra here to play with.
And Reid's able to do this once to draw a card. Now you want to do it to the reflections if you want to get that value.
I'll copy the copy.
Okay.
Go to 3 life
Okay.
and draw a card.
Ooh.
So this is saying, Luis, if you have Soren, you win. I
Yeah.
can't beat it anyways.
Block those.
And you'll see players do this. Like, if you can't beat a card, just get it out of your mind.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist, because if you have it, I'm dead. And that is, it's a very good way to look at it.
Yeah, make him have it.
Blood.
Yep. Okay, so Reid recognizes he can't win the game, by going with the reflection trick at end step, so it's just trying to draw a good card. Soren would be one of them.
Soren would be
Vein
excellent,
Ripper would
yeah.
be lethal too, because
Yeah.
you just attack with your creatures. I want to say I saw land, another Dust Legion Zealot, and maybe Path of Peril? No, a Bitter Triumph there. Okay, so Bitter Triumph, land, Dust Legion Zealot. I mean, that's still very strong. Wow, what a game.
This has been super, super close. And this is kind of where both of these players are in their happy spot, you know?
Yeah.
Their happy place. It's mid-range, grindy matchups.
Oh, yeah.
I think this is also the slowest I've ever seen Luis play, you know, in this game specifically.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, Luis has had a career that all of us Magic players dream of already. But Luis just wants to play in these Pro Tours,
Yeah.
you know? So being able to be qualified, that's a very important thing for him and every player that aspires to be a professional Magic player.
I'm sure everyone would love to see Luis back at the next Pro Tour, so
Yeah.
really hoping he's able to cross that 10 and 6 threshold or better as another Dusk Legion Zealot comes down here for Reid. Duke down to 2.
Is it
Woo.
Soren?
Come on, give us a game 3 here, Reid.
Yeah.
Oh boy. This is so close. At this point, if, you know, just judging by body language, I think Luis may have this.
It's definitely looking pretty solid.
I'll go to 1.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Reid's going for it right now, recognizing that if Luis top decks a Vein Ripper, the game's over.
Yeah.
So
Vein Ripper or Soren will get the game done here, but creature, this is like critical mass compared to what Reid's got going on right now.
Yep. So now there's only the ability to make 3 reflection, 5 blockers. As it stands, it looks like Luis just has this.
Yeah, 7 attackers here.
Yep.
Blood-Scythe Harvester before we get to combat.
And probably just to sack the blood, get rid of that Thoughtseize land that Luis has in hand.
Yeah.
Just to find Soren and make it really easy. But I think Luis is going to recognize it and just be like, I have more cards, let's go.
Well, that looks pretty good to me. Need a removal spell here. You said you spotted Bitter Triumph, so you can discard a card.
Yeah, I don't think it's
But
enough.
you can't do that and then make the copies.
Yep.
Okay, you got me good games.
Yeah.
Wow.
Jeez, that's so unfortunate for Reid Duke, but Luis Scott-Vargas improving his record,
Yeah.
getting 1 game closer to that 10-win record that he needs.
Yeah, absolutely. 4 rounds left, only having to win 1 of them. Of course, everybody knowing Luis Scott-Vargas and the amazing career that he's had, he would still want to make the top 8. You know, just sneaking into the next Pro Tour, that's great. He'd be happy at when you get to dinner, but he still very much at this position wants to win the whole thing.
Yeah, I'd love to see that. I'm sure many people would, but we'll have more Magic friends to show you after this short break, so don't go anywhere. Welcome back to coverage of Pro Tour Mid, as it call of Mana. Had to get one in there for the day, you know. We are back with more Pioneer action here, and we are going to jump into a matchup that Corey is very, very excited about.
Yes.
Can you guess what we're about to see?
It's time to fly. 80 cards. We got Yorion. That makes Corey a happy camper.
We're going to jump into a match here. Jason Yee up against Miguel Simoes. It is Jeskai Creativity up against Izzet Phoenix. And Jason Yee up a game here. So looking pretty darn good as we head down to the feature match area and take a look at game number 2.
Yeah, every deck Jason ends up playing is always awesome. There's, you know, not a lot of time that they just play the best deck. It's always something spicy, and this deck is really no exception. Creativity looks really cool here.
Both these players representing their teams as well. Sanctum of All. I read their tweet at the end of competition yesterday.
Yeah.
Almost every single player had an excellent record. I believe they also all made it through today too, so that's pretty darn good.
It's really impressive, and it is a nice advantage when you can get on one of these really awesome teams, as just drafting in pods is a lot different. So getting that advantage, plus Pioneer, there's so many good decks, so being able to find that diamond in the rough ends up really helping when you got a community around you. So a reminder for Jason's deck, this is trying to get creativity on one of your tokens and then flash in Atraxa. That is the main thing. But outside of that, it's just a control deck on top of that. So you're able to have really good removal. Lightning Helix, Get Lost. You have Teferis. Chained to the Rocks is a really solid card that can't be played in a lot of decks. And then just really overwhelm your opponent with value thanks to Atraxa Grand Unifier.
This deck is kind of, you know, the love child of Riley's favorite archetype and, you know, your favorite one.
Yes, yes. This is pretty much my whole thing is I want to be casting Omen of the Sea, a card that gets no more love and respect these days, and have Yorion sitting next to me to make me feel better.
Okay. Well, you know, we got some Yorion here for you as a treat. So Omen of the Sea, first stick down for Jason Yee, up against a young Pyromancer. But not for long, as Lightning Helix is going to take care of that.
Yep, and there is the Pierce to be able to keep that alive. Now, piercing that is a little bit brutal because you don't have the Pierce for the creativity.
Yeah.
But you really need to keep your only threat alive here if you're Miguel with this Phoenix deck.
Yeah, and this Phoenix deck, you know, it's just so many cheap spells turn after turn, if everything's going well, that you can just swarm the board with critters and try and get this game over before Jason even has an opportunity to think about creativity.
Yep, and you can just find more spell pierces as well. So being aggressive with your spell pierces is extremely nice. Ooh, can't spell pierce that one though. Verdict here to clean this battlefield up is extremely nice.
Yeah. That's exactly what Jason wanted to see there. Supreme Verdict. No more critters. Picklock Prankster going to do its best to get some Phoenix in the yard, and does so.
Yeah, we saw Jason earlier in pod number 1, and they were just dominating round 1 against our tournament leader, Jesse Hampton, with that extremely sweet Boros deck.
Yeah, with Agros Costs, my goodness me.
Did lose a match. That was definitely my favorite to 3-0 the pod, as Jason's deck just looked amazing, but did fall one of those matches, but 9-2 is still excellent.
They drafted pretty much exactly the deck that I love drafting in this format.
Yeah, everyone
just straight up Boros beatdown.
Yeah, everyone's like, nah, I'm trying to do anything but Boros, but what about Boros?
Yeah.
You know, like,
there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
Oh boy, that's a card you don't want to see. Rest in peace.
Yep, extremely powerful against these Phoenix decks. Not only are you shutting down the power of Arclight Phoenix coming back, but you shut down the best card in the Phoenix deck and maybe the best card in the entire format, Treasure Cruise.
Yeah, that's rough here for Miguel Simoes. She's looking to tie up this game here, or this matchup, and progress to 10-2. But as it stands, it looks like Jason Yee is going to do that quite comfortably.
Yep. And of course, these players would like to get to 10 wins to make sure you guarantee your next qualification. But when you're at 9-2 going into this, you're looking at 12 wins.
Oh,
you know, you want to 3-2 your way into the top 8 and get your chance at glory.
Both players in very good positions to do so. Arclight Phoenix swinging in trying to take Jason's life total down to 0. Down to 9 at the moment, though.
Yeah, and the one big advantage from Jason's deck here is being able to play Rest in Peace. You know, that is not a card that's played a lot. And, you know, blue-white control and this Jeskai deck is really the only thing that can play it. So huge advantage here in this Phoenix matchup.
Nice. I saw it get lost off the top there for Jason.
Yeah. And normally get lost on a Phoenix is get lost for now. But with Rest in Peace, it's getting lost. Looks like a Fable.
Yep. Fable the Mirror Breaker. Here comes a Goblin. So just more value next turn for Jason.
And if they have land 8, you have that magical number that every Yorion player looks at is being able to then buy Yorion, play Yorion, blink out 2 Omen of the Seas and a Fable. Plus you have Chapter 2 of the Fable to help you find it.
Yeah.
Now it is a little risky as you're tapping out for it if Miguel has a dispute, anything like that.
Yeah. So Picklock Prankster.
Come up.
Yep.
Getting in there with the Arclight Phoenix. There's the get lost. Does Miguel have a way to protect this Phoenix?
And Jason decided to play that pretty slow and go for get lost here on Miguel's turn, signifying that it's not that important. You know, might really be alluding to that 8-mana Yorion and just saying, if you have a counter spell, you can do it now, but Yorion's going to be unlocked and it's going to cause a lot more damage next turn.
Oh, yeah.
But that being said, Jason's at 9, so.
Take 1.
Go to 8. Yep.
A couple map tokens there, courtesy of Get Lost. So you lose a critter, it goes into exile, but hey, at least you can maybe dig through the deck, as we see Miguel do here. Finds a land off the top, that goes to hand. Let's do it one more time. Okay. Big old lightning, let's just chuck that.
Now we'll see if you want to keep the axe. I mean, the axe can deal with the body of Yorion.
Yeah. Doesn't
But-
stop the effect, unfortunately.
Yeah, it doesn't stop the effect, which is strong, but the effect is not game-breaking as it stands, because if Miguel is able to clear the way and maybe play a Phoenix or something, then you can start pressuring the life total of Jason. Right, there's a Shredder with mana open, and looks like only 2 to 3 cards there from Miguel. So we'll see if there is some permission in the hand. And with the way that Miguel has been thinking, you at least would assume that there's something. Maybe one of the disputes, there's Negate, there's Gust, there's a ton
Yeah.
of counter magic in Miguel 75.
Plenty of permission spells.
Okay, that looked like a chump attack there, which would signify needing 8 mana,
Oh.
but nope, not quite Yorion time. Dang
Not
it.
yet. Yeah, I know you want Yorion.
I'll be patient.
But sometimes, Corey, we don't always get what we want.
Fair enough, fair enough.
We'll see if Jason is kind enough to bring Yorion out for you.
Okay, so had 3 mana available, but didn't choose to purchase the Yorion, so likely has something as far as a trick, a negate or something like that.
Chapter 3, here comes Reflection of Kikijiki. Nothing to copy. So sad.
Yeah, really nothing to copy in the entire deck. Most decks, when Fable the Mirror Breaker has 3 great modes, it's just incredible, the best card you can possibly have. This is a deck that takes huge advantage of the first 2 modes, and the third is fine. It can be a creativity target. Maybe you copy a big shark, something like that. That can be reasonable, but not absolutely amazing.
Keeping all that mana open, that can't be daunting at all.
Yeah, not buying Yorion. Let's see. This easily could be a shark. I know there is 1 in the main deck, and then 1 in the board. Would assuredly come in this matchup. So that's what I would be thinking if I was Miguel. I would be like, well, why didn't you buy Yorion?
Shark attack. Do. Perhaps.
Okay, memory
Ooh,
deluge
memory
makes sense too.
deluge. Let's go get some more cards.
Wow.
Oh, okay. Mystical Dispute.
The 3 mana's there though.
Yeah. Jason's able to pay for it, courtesy of that treasure off to the side. So
Wow, look at the respect.
Memory Deluge will resolve.
Look at the respect to deal with just drawing 2 cards there at end step.
Oh no, we countered it.
Yeah, I know that there's a lot of respect to counter it, but now there's 8 mana. So if there's not more counter magic, time to let the bird fly.
No, just passing the turn yet again.
When in hand?
Yeah, this is the one disadvantage of Rest in Peace, is unable to flashback memory deluge, but
Yeah. You know, you kind of handicap yourself a little bit, but, you know, it's not the end of the world as we see a big shark
good old
getting
6-6.
cycled in here.
And 6-6 being a very good number here, as it can't get lightning axed, but
Yeah.
with the pair up of blocking here at Kin,
Yeah.
and I think I saw old Crackles there in Miguel's hand, so this is a nice follow-up.
Old Crackles,
Yeah.
Crackling Drake.
And now that doesn't care about the graveyard. It is all about exile, so it is still large.
Yeah, that's
Saw
one of the
treasure-
reasons to play that post board in these matchups.
I did see a treasure cruise as well for Miguel, so, you know, you're getting close. The old 8-mana draw 3
Oh,
is
yeah.
less impressive. There we go. Let the bird fly. Now, if there's a counter spell for this, that would be huge.
Yeah, we're just gonna blink out all the permanents possible.
Okay, if there is a lightning axe, though, Miguel is just going to win this game, assuming there's 7 spells, which I would assume there is.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that Miguel's gone through 7 instances of sorceries, so
So this is the turn.
That's
if
a big
Miguel,
pigeon.
if Miguel can get this out of the way, Miguel will be fine. But if not, I saw the Get Lost. Get Lost can deal with Crackling Drake, and Jason
Yeah.
will pull very far ahead.
doing a quick count. 10?
Yeah, it's large enough.
Large enough, says Miguel. That's a flex when you don't even say the
Yeah.
full number. Be like, it's enough.
Yeah, how much damage? Lots.
Lots. I don't see the axe, though.
Yeah, you can see Miguel run his hands through his hair.
Yeah, and it was a tap land to draw there, so you can't even treasure cruise.
Creativity.
Table?
And that's it. That's game.
Didn't even need creativity. It's just a big old bird to get lost and
Free hand.
Oh, and this is kind
Oh.
of bait. Okay.
aha, veto says
Yep.
no thank you. So Crackling Drake out the way. Miguel is on 18.
Yeah, look at this turn from Jason, though. Like, now you can attack with the Goblin, you can attack with Yorion, and then post-combat creativity for Atraxa. Hello. This deck is sweet.
Power overwhelming here
Yeah, this is awesome.
for Jeskai creativity. So there is indomitable creativity.
There's only one target. This is the power of these creativity decks. You know, it's not doing the World Spine Worm, Zendigos thing. It's just a value deck, but Atraxa is going to find a lot of different types, and it's just going to be impossible for Miguel to push through this powerful card.
Yeah, this is the part where you kind of just sit there and say, please, whiff, whiff, whiff. But I don't think there's going to be any of that happening.
Even if you miss the trigger on Atraxa here, Jason's taking this down.
Well, let's have a look here and see how many of the card types we find. Whoa, 4 lands, 5 lands. Whoa, okay. If we could call that a whiff, that's
Yeah,
much a whiff.
pretty much.
so many lands. Good grief.
Now we're going to see a draw step, and
Look like a
there,
land.
I think, yeah, maybe a land, maybe a mystical dispute, and we're going to draw some cards, and technically,
Oh, that's just, oh, that hurts so much.
insult to injury. It's only 11 damage here, but GG.
Goodness me, the old 8-mana draw 3, Corey.
Yeah.
You hate to see it as the Phoenix deck.
Yeah, absolutely. But as a Yorion lover, you love to see that. That was awesome. Vampires is cool and all, but creativity.
How do you think
Pretty
it's faring
cool
against
as well.
the rest of the field that we're seeing bubble to the top?
Pretty well so far. I mean, 10-2 for Jason. That is an extremely awesome record. The deck looks really cool. I'm excited to see more of it.
Likewise, after this break, we'll be back at the news desk with Maria, so don't go anywhere.